Remember that breathtaking scene in Jurassic Park? A huge flock of graceful two-legged dinosaurs sprinting across a field, moving like giant ostriches? Those were Gallimimus, and while the movie captured their likely speed, and maybe even their flocking behavior, the real science behind this chicken mimic is even more fascinating, filled with debates about diet, feathers, and its life in Late Cretaceous Mongolia. Welcome back, speed enthusiasts, to Dinosaur Anatomy. Today, we're chasing down Gallimimus bullatus, one of the largest and best-known ornithomimids, the ostrich dinosaurs. Discovered in the Nemegt Formation of Mongolia, dating back around 70 million years, Gallimimus offers a fantastic window into this unique group of theropods that traded ferocious teeth for incredible speed and specialized lifestyles. First, let's appreciate its design for speed. Gallimimus was built like a runner. Reaching lengths of up to 6 to 8 meters, 26 feet, it was significantly larger than an ostrich, but shared many adaptations for cursoriality. Its legs were incredibly long, especially the lower leg bones, tibia, and metatarsals, which were much longer than the thigh bone, femur. This is a classic sign of a fast runner in the animal kingdom. Powerful leg muscles, likely anchored by a strong tail base similar to what we discussed with Carnotaurus, though perhaps optimized differently, would have propelled it across the landscape. Combine this with hollow bones for lightness and a streamlined body, and you have a dinosaur likely capable of reaching speeds rivaling modern ostriches, perhaps 30-50 mil/ph, 50-80 km/h, or even more in bursts. It was likely one of the fastest dinosaurs of its size. What about its arms? Unlike the useless appendages of Carnotaurus, Gallimimus had relatively well-developed, though slender, arms ending in 3-fingered hands with claws. They weren't overly long or powerful compared to its legs, suggesting they weren't primary. Weapons or tools for heavy manipulation. What were they used for? Perhaps for grasping vegetation, handling small prey items, balance while running, or even social interactions, or nest building. Their exact function remains somewhat speculative. Now, let's talk feathers. While direct fossil evidence of feathers hasn't been published specifically for Gallimimus bullatus itself, we have strong evidence from its close relatives. Fossils of Ornithomimus from North America show clear impressions of complex pennaceous, vanid feathers on the arms, forming wings, though likely not for flight, and filament-like feathers covering the body. Even the giant, bizarre relative Dinochirus from the same Nemegt Formation shows evidence of a pigostyle-like structure at the tail's end, suggesting a fan of tail feathers. Given this strong phylogenetic bracketing, it's almost certain that Gallimimus was also feathered, likely with fuzzy, down-like body feathers for insulation, and perhaps more elaborate feathers on the arms and tail for display or balance. Imagine that Jurassic Park scene again, but with giant feathered racers. The head of Gallimimus is particularly interesting. It had a relatively small skull compared to its body size, large eye sockets suggesting good vision, crucial for spotting predators or food at high speed, and a fairly large brain cavity for a dinosaur of its lineage, hinting at potentially complex behaviors. Most importantly, it had a toothless beak, or rhamphotheca, similar to modern birds. This immediately tells us it wasn't tearing into large prey like a typical theropod. So, what did it eat? This is one of the biggest ongoing debates surrounding Gallimimus and other ornithomimids. Several hypotheses exist, supported by different lines of evidence. Herbivory. Many paleontologists lean towards a primarily herbivorous diet. The presence of numerous gastroliths, stomach stones, found with some ornithomimid skeletons, including potentially Gallimimus as noted by Osmolska, suggests they were used to grind tough plant material in a gizzard, similar to modern birds. The beak could have been used for cropping vegetation. Barrett, 2005, strongly argued for herbivory in ornithomimids based on beak morphology and gastrolith associations. Omnivore. A more flexible diet is also highly plausible. The beak could have handled fruits, seeds, insects, small vertebrates, lizards, mammals, and eggs, in addition to plants. This adaptable strategy makes sense for an animal living in potentially variable environments. Filter feeding, less likely. An intriguing, though currently less favored hypothesis proposed by Norell, Makovicki, and Curry back in 2001 suggested that fine, closely spaced vertical ridges, lamellae, observed inside the beak of some ornithomimid specimens, including Gallimimus, might indicate filter feeding, similar to modern ducks or flamingos, straining small invertebrates or plant matter from water. However, subsequent researchers have questioned whether these structures are truly analogous to filter feeding apparatuses, and whether they are universally present or well preserved. While not entirely ruled out, especially perhaps seasonally, it's not considered the primary feeding mode by most researchers today. The current consensus leans towards Gallimimus being either primarily herbivorous or omnivorous, using its speed to cover large distances, searching for food patches and escaping predators like Tarbosaurus, the apex predator of the Nemegt Formation. What about that flocking behavior seen in Jurassic Park? Is there evidence for it? Large bone beds containing multiple individuals of other ornithomimid species have been found, strongly suggesting gregarious behavior. While huge Gallimimus-specific bone beds might not be as common, trackway evidence for other ornithomimids sometimes shows parallel paths indicating group movement. It's highly probable that Gallimimus lived in social groups or flocks, offering safety in numbers, more eyes to spot danger, and potentially coordinating movements. So, Jurassic Park likely. Got that aspect right? Gallimimus was first discovered during the Polish-Mongolian paleontological expeditions to the Gobi Desert in the 1960s and was officially named by Halska Osmolska, Ewa Roniewicz, and Rinchen Barsbold in 1972. Its name, Gallimimus bullatus, means chicken mimic. Galli plus mimus, referring to similarities perceived in its vertebrae, and provided with a bulla, bullatus, referencing a specific capsule-like structure found on the skull base, parasphenoid. Finding relatively complete skeletons made Gallimimus one of the best understood ornithomimids. Let's summarize the modern view. Fact: large ornithomimid built for speed, with long legs and light bones. Fact: possessed a toothless beak. Diet likely, herbivorous or omnivorous, potentially using gastroliths. Filter feeding less likely as primary strategy. Highly likely, covered in feathers, including possibly wing-like structures on the arms. Likely, lived in social groups or flocks for protection. And foraging. Fact: large eyes suggest good vision. Brain relatively large for its lineage. Fact: coexisted with predators like Tarbosaurus in Late Cretaceous Mongolia. Gallimimus represents a successful evolutionary strategy among theropods, sacrificing power for speed and adapting to a different way of life. It wasn't a fearsome hunter, but a swift, probably feathered, and likely social dinosaur, navigating the complex ecosystem of the Nemegt Formation. It truly was the chicken mimic on a grand scale. What part of Gallimimus science surprises you the most? The feather evidence? The diet debate? Let me know your thoughts below. If you enjoyed this sprint through the world of Gallimimus, please give this video a speedy like, subscribe to Dinosaur Anatomy, and ring that notification bell. For more, thanks for watching.